Chasing Tales, Episode 12, The Weight of a Soul.
When we last left, Tex had passed. What will happen next?
Pink, Aislinn, and Portia stand around Tex's body. Pink reaches into his pocket for a half-torn picture of him. It was still soft and warm from being in there. She pulled out her half and placed the pieces together on her trophy shelf. She attaches a label to it. It reads, 1946, Tex, detective, died of carelessness. She turns back to her friends and she smudges the tears out of her eyes. She pushes past them into her bedroom and closes the door. Aislinn looks down. He's not equipped to handle this.
What do we do now?
I'll port him to the exchange center to process his next steps. Talk to Sin. Maybe he'll know what to do for her.
He nods and then ports back to Sin. He looks up from filling the counter with sweets. Aislinn leans on one hip. His wing cocked along the line of his shoulders, with their gray streaked with black. Sin knows what's coming, so he waits for Aislinn.
Tex is gone. I've never seen her cry. It was distressing.
Duh. How can I help you?
How can I help her?
It's simple and complex. Start with a hug. Really relax into it.
That's it?
It will be obvious when you do.
Sin hands the cake box over the counter.
Take these. Don't eat the green ones.
Aislinn looks at the box and back at Sin, confused. Sin nods. Aislinn takes the box back to Pink's. She's standing in front of the trophy case staring at the picture. She's bleary-eyed. He smiles sympathetically at her and opens the box. The surprise of it makes her jump a little. Inside the box are rows of colored bite-sized cakes. She makes a face and tries to decide.
Try the green ones. Trust me.
She picks out the green one and pops it in her mouth. She focuses on the sugar and the flavor of it. Aislinn puts the box down and spreads his arms out for her to give him a hug. She swallows. She looks at him uncertainly and goes for it. When they make contact, he can feel her pain. She soaks in his warmth and concern. He can now hear her thoughts echoing in his mind and feels his loyalty to her increased somehow. He knows her motives, her failings. He's her angel now. He releases her, and she steps back.
Thank you. It means a lot. Are you aware of what just happened?
Sort of. What was all that emotional noise?
The noise is my thoughts and feelings. We're bonded now. You've accepted your place as my guardian.
My place as your guardian? What does that really mean?
Listen, I can only tell you from my point of view. I think it's best for the moment for you to seek out a drop-in angel for some insight.
Well, I do know a lot more about you.
Yeah, that's true.
For example, you aren't really trying to break the curse at all. You really are a true believer in this whole thing. That's why you don't boost your numbers high enough for heaven.
The adventure is more important than the outcome sometimes.
You could boost your numbers, and then just opt out and be with Tex.
Ah, don't tempt me.
Aislinn smiles. Pink lights one up and pours a drink. They sit quietly for a while. The crystal on the table vibrates. Portia rises holographically off the table.
He's chosen. Would you like to see?
Without having to be asked, Aislinn opens up a portal to the proofing chamber. They walk through rows of incubation tables. There are angels in white all around the large warehouse of glowing blue pods. They carry clipboards making notes and checking on vitals. Aislinn looks up as high as he can see. There are floors after floors after floors of pods.
Looks like a morgue.
Kinda, yeah.
I didn't expect there to be so many.
Lots of humans die every day. They have to go somewhere, at least their souls do.
Portia spots him and waves him over to her. She stands over Tex's pod. It's filled with a blue fog obscuring the view. Portilla pushes a few buttons and the hydraulic lid opens. The fog clears. Pink makes a surprised little noise.
Huh.
He sleeps peacefully. She strokes his hair and kisses him on the forehead. Tears began to roll down her face again as they leave the building.
I know you were hoping he would stay.
How could I deny him heaven? It wouldn't be right.
At least now he's out of harm's way.
That's true.
Now you can focus on work.
And Russa?
Her anger rose and surged through him. He watched it fall again, without attachment. On the walk back, they walk up to the office. Lachesis is there waiting.
How are you, Pink? As expected. I feel like you should take some time off. Don't we have something I can do here?
Lachesis puts her hand on Pink's shoulder.
It's all right. 2 weeks. Go and relax and get yourself together. I don't want you to push through this and make a mistake. I still need to harvest for Tex. Don't worry. We'll take care of him. It's our job. Thank you.
All.
Ma'am.
Walk with me, Pink.
Pink and Metatron walk out into the hall and lean on the balcony rail. She stares down at the fountain below him.
Pink, I am so sorry for your loss.
We all knew it was coming.
And yet you waited until the last minute. Did you really not want him to work here?
I don't really know the answer to that. Frankly, I'm surprised you aren't telling me.
Listen, I know you were hurting. And I know you were angry. But we couldn't make him go on forever. His bill was due.
I killed him by being careless. There were 100 other things I could have done.
For what it's worth, Pink, I don't think you were responsible.
So what do you have planned for me now?
Pink asks with a mild disrespect. Metatron smiles sympathetically. She touches Pink, and everything goes back. She walks back into the office.
Excellent. While Pink is away, I'm sending you to a training course, as it is long overdue.
Yes, ma'am.
Lachesis, you carry on without Pink.
Thank you for intervening.
When Pink comes to, she's in fish form, in the tank at the club. The boys are practicing. Jake comes through with the paychecks.
Bob. Dan. Yo! Toby.
Hey!
Eric.
Eric snatches the envelope as he fast walks away, definitely up to something.
Will?
Yep. Eric, why did you step on my spit barrel?
Will chases after Eric into the back rooms. Pink looks out through the water at them. She wobbles her head and swims back into her castle. Pink projects her thoughts through Aislinn.
I've been grounded for 2 weeks. I'm safe. Do some research on Sprex's hierarchy. I need to know who's currently in power and what their weaknesses are.
No can do, boss. She's got me pinned down with some training classes.
Ugh.
You really need to stop for a little while. Besides, this training will make me better. I don't want to let you down again.
But Ace, you haven't.
I've made my share of mistakes since I took the wings. I thought I was better. I have a lot to learn that will help you.
She stops flapping and just settles on the bottom waiting. Jack sits in the office having now distributed the checks. He finishes up inventory and sets it aside. He moves a stack of papers gently so as to not topple them and start the sorting and filing. A knock comes at the door.
Yep.
How are things, Jack?
Fine. I'm busy as usual.
I brought something for Pinky. Is she around?
She's off work for a couple of weeks. Leave it with me and I'll make sure she gets it.
He opens the briefcase and drops a packet onto the desk and leaves. Kevin meets him in the doorway.
Excuse me. Jack. She gone already?
Yep. She'll be back in 2 weeks.
Say, that thing I'm working on is almost done. Come by the studio and I'll play you what I've got so far.
Yep.
Kevin leaves. Jack opens the packet Thurston bought. It's a will. He reads through it and discovered that she's leaving the club to Will. He is to be kept on and provide for when he retires. Jack nods, satisfied, puts it back in the envelope. He walks out into the main part of the bar and tells everyone to go get lunch. He stands around waiting for them to leave. Once alone, he gets out a towel and cleans the glass at the front of the tank. He wipes it in circles and watches the fish swim around. Pink peeks out of her castle, and Jack spots her and nods.
Pink, what are you doing here?
Jack, Tex is dead.
Last night?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll look after you, my friend.
In the hells, Sprix dreams.
Pink, you'll have to make up your mind sometime.
I don't have to. I can live like this and be perfectly happy.
But legs, Pink. You could be human again. Just say yes to me.
Pod is working on the problem.
She sings Waterspout and rises to the railing of the deck of Sprix's ship. He reaches out to her, his hands cracked with hard work, lined with dirt. He strokes her delicate skin.
I can give you more than the angels promise you.
He waves his hand. Now legs replace her shiny pink tail. He offers his hand to help her on deck. She's pulled into a hug. She doesn't resist. He grunts and wakes up suddenly.
Huh? Damn it.
He looks in the mirror and snorts apathetically, does nothing to make himself look together. He stomps off down to Farrell's. Angry about the dream, he remembered that day. It did not end as his dream had. She told him no. He always got his way, but she was the one person he couldn't crack. The fish that got away. He was obsessed with making her an agent of chaos. The bar had a handful of loose regulars drinking. It was quiet. Six was behind the bar already, the morning-loving bastard. He was one of his favorites, but even his green eyes couldn't ease his mind. He looked over his shoulder, and his captive angel was sleeping naked. Her pink and gray wings curled around her. Not even that sight changed his snappy, annoying mood. He tugged her chain, pulling her by the collar against the bars of the cage, waking her violently. He opened the door and dragged her by the chain to the back. He bent her over the table where he always sat and violated her. The whole time, thinking of Pink.
Why won't you just surrender?
As he climaxed, he shot a spiked barb through the angel and out of her mouth. Her screams were cut off suddenly as she floated away as glittery dust. The collar and chain thunked to the ground. He bent down and swiped the angel dust and licked it off his fingers. He wrestled his britches back together.
Six! Get me another angel bitch and some red shawls. I've got shit to do.
Pink lay belly up in the tank watching the normal fish swim above her. Jack walked by and tapped the tank. She barely moved. He slapped the will against the tank and she rolled over and swam up to the glass.
Pink, what's this about? You retiring? I know you loved him, but it's no reason to give up.
I'm not giving up. I'm resting. The will isn't for now, it's for later. Can you bring me a drink?
I'll get your bottle.
Jack came back after a minute with a special bourbon-filled bottle with a ball in the spout. He clipped it to the side of the tank. She drank from it, bubbles floating out of her gills.
So, how much later are we talking?
My body is 45 and the wear and tear is starting to show. At some point, it will die. The club will have to go to someone. If you read it, you'll know I've taken you into account.
Thanks. Say, it's a good thing we kept the tank.
Yeah.
Remember the first time I saw you change?
Yeah, that was awkward.
Everything after that kind of seemed normal.
Jack, if you ever want to work for Syndicate, I can put in a good word for you.
Thanks, but I think I'm good for now. By the way, I'm sorry about Tex. He was a stand-up guy. I know you loved him. We'll get through this.
Thanks, Jack.
Portia stood next to Tex's pod, watching the process of his regeneration. He had chosen where he had been most comfortable in his life. He looked about 7 or 8, and had lost all the age and wear, slowly as he changed. It was probably for the best.
Tex is nearly ready for heaven. Aislinn and Sin are in training, and Pink is grounded. Now would be the perfect time for Sprix to hit her. What will he do next? Stay tuned for the next exciting episode of Chasing Tales, Speaking to Darkness.